Well, good morning, everyone. I have 8 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Paducah Chamber's first small business seminar of the month. I'm Sandra Wilson, and I have the privilege of being president of the Paducah Chamber. And our goal is to deliver services to our members, and this is one way of doing this. We're celebrating Small Business month, kind of. It's actually a longer period than just a month, but we're celebrating small businesses in our community right now. We appreciate the proclamation declaring that from the mayor and the judge, and so we want to do everything that we can to celebrate and help our small businesses. Small business is big business in our community. And so the topics that we're going to feature for the next 5 Wednesdays are from a survey that we conducted with our local small businesses to help identify topics that they would find most beneficial. And one of those was hearing from each other and having that opportunity to talk to other peers and other small business owners. So that's what we're kicking it off with today. Owning and growing a small business takes blood, sweat, tears, and a lot of heart. And it also takes passion, drive, and tremendous dedication. So this is more than just business. This is something that's very personal to all of you. So each Wednesday in September at 8 o'clock, we will have a different small business seminar. They're going to be about PPP, taking that from a loan to a grant, managing your cash flow, identifying your market, and also just how to get out of your own way to be successful. Today, we're going to hear from 3 small business owners, and no one understands the challenges that you all face like you. And these 3 will talk about some of the obstacles they faced and how to push forward. WPSD is live streaming this call. And so we're also recording the call, and we will post that recording later on the Chamber's website and Facebook page in case you want to watch it again or share it with other small business owners. If you have questions during this webinar, you can enter those in the chat box on the Zoom call that we're on, or you can email those to me if you are watching it on the live stream at swilson@paducahchamber.org, and I'll ask those later. So we do have sponsors of our seminar series. They are FNB Bank and Lundberg Medical Imaging. So we're going to hear just briefly from our sponsors. Let me introduce FNB Bank Market President Ike Nichols, and then we'll have Terry Lundberg with the practice manager of Lundberg Medical Imaging.
So our hope is that some of the information.
Yeah, there is.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining the Paducah Chamber Small Business Seminar Series. My name is Ike Nichols with FNB Bank. FNB is a proud sponsor of this year's series. We know that 2020 has been somewhat of a challenging year for a lot of small businesses, so our hope is that some of the information you gain from this series will be useful for you going forward. Again, on behalf of FNB, thank you for taking time out of the day to join this meeting, and have a good day.
Facility is a privately owned small business serving our region with diagnostic imaging services. As a board member of the Paducah Area Chamber of Commerce and a small business owner myself, I am passionate about helping our area small businesses. I want each of you watching today to know that I am here to answer your questions, guide you to set up those resources, and please, when our chamber starts having those in-person hour partnership meetings again, ask me to sit at your table. The Chamber of Commerce is here to facilitate those valuable networking connections and guide you to those resources. And because Lundberg Medical Imaging fully supports the economic engine of our community, we are happy to sponsor today's event. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you. We're having a little technical difficulty, but that was FNB Bank with Ike Nichols and then Terry Lundberg with the Lundberg Medical Imaging. So we thank our sponsors very much. We couldn't do these kinds of programs without them. So now I'm going to introduce our speakers for today, and I'm just going to go ahead and introduce all three of them before we begin. Daniel Jones, you want to wave, Daniel? Is the co-owner of the two Strawberry Hills pharmacies here in Paducah, Walters Pharmacy in Murray, and he also has a new pharmacy down in Tennessee. He received his Doctor of Pharmacy degree from the Sanford McWhorter School of Pharmacy in Birmingham and is a Mayfield native. Daniel is the immediate past chair of the Paducah Chamber Board. Jessica Newman is the president of Advantage Insurance Services. Jessica has been a small business owner since 2004. She serves as the vice chair for small businesses for the Paducah Chamber Board. And earlier this year, she formed a small business committee for the chamber. So one of the newest members of that is Shalorn Hollowell Jeter, and she is a realtor with eXp Realty. She represents sellers and buyers in real estate transactions across the state of Kentucky. Prior to becoming a realtor, she worked in the Kentucky state government. She's volunteered with the Paducah Human Rights Commission and co-hosted and co-wrote the local TV show Raising the Standard. And as I said, she's the newest member of the Paducah Chamber Small Business Committee, and we're happy to have all three of you with us today. So I want to ask you, if you would, to start out by telling us about starting your business, and if there was one thing you wish you would have known when you first started your business, what would it be? So I think we drew straws, and Daniel drew the short straw or whatever, and he's going to go first. And so first we'll hear from Daniel Jones, and then we'll transition to Jessica Newman and then to Shalorn, and then we'll come back and do some Q&A. So again, if you're listening and you want to send some Q&A on chat, please do that, or email to swilson@paducahchamber.org. So Daniel, take it away.
Well, good morning, everyone, and it is an honor to be here today and be a part of this. Let me start out by thanking the sponsors again, FNB Bank and Lundberg Imaging. Both have been great organizations in the community, very supportive of the small business community and the chamber in a whole. You know, I've often said, and probably a lot of people on this call today have heard me mention it in other settings, but if the chamber closed tomorrow, we would all be together, a group of business leaders and owners would come together to form something like the chamber, just to help the network continue, to help grow, to help keep a core group of business people together in the community. Kudos to Sandra and the team of the chamber. You know, over the last 6 months, it felt like 2 years. I've seen firsthand how they've worked, and being in my time on the chair of the board, and especially, you know, like I said, the last 6 months, we've done programs with Zoom, pivots like everyone else, and I think they've done a great job keeping the business community informed of what's out there, what can be done, and what needs to be done to keep the business sector going. There's value in the chamber, guys. If you can't see it, look for it. It's there. It didn't take long for me to find it, and if you keep digging, you'll find it too. Well, it is an honor. It's an honor for me to be here today and being asked and chosen to speak on the topic and use the platform to try to help others and maybe shed some light on some things and everything like that. I usually don't talk sitting down, but I think I'm supposed to do that today. And so if I get moving around, just know it's that's going to happen too as well. If I was not speaking today or on this call today, I'd want to be on it to listen. It's something that I try to build an organization on to help raise the lid, to help you grow yourself. And if you do that, the business will grow too. Just a few things that I've kind of run across I want to share with you today, and I am going to scroll my screen now. I know you can't see that, but I am moving my mouse. But small business is the economy. People on this call today have more answers to what ails the economy than all the people in DC. The better we do, the better the customer does. The better we do, the better your team does. The better we do, the better the community does. In the last decade alone, these are numbers, you can fact check them. Fortune 500 companies have added a net decrease in jobs, so a minus in jobs. Small businesses have added 8 million jobs. We are the economy. 28 million small businesses in America. 54% of the GDP, that's everything. That is over half, and I'm proud to be a small business owner. And I'm proud to walk down the path with you. 55% of all jobs in America come from small businesses. Free enterprise is alive and well, guys. Socialism stinks. I'm just going to throw it out there, and I'm a capitalist pig, and I'm proud of it. The good thing about starting a business, it all starts with the leader. It starts with everyone on this call who's listening and all that. All the mistakes, all the good, all the bad, And boy, there's bad. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. But it all rises and falls on the leader and the owner. You can't do it without passion for your business. Don't even try. Leaders are not born. You don't go into the maternity ward and say it's a boy, it's a girl. You don't hear them say it's a leader. You learn how to develop those skills. They're intentional choices we make every day to decide how we want to grow our businesses and how we want to do it. There's variables we can't control. Our character, our capacity, our education, the vision for your team, and your spiritual walk. All these are limiting factors, but there's only one thing that can control it, and it's you. It's me sitting right here in this chair. We can decide right now, today, as we're getting ready to launch, you're launching your business, I may launch another business, who knows? These are all limiting factors today that you can change today if you want to change them. As I was jotting down notes last night, do you think the 43-year-old Daniel Jones today in this chair is the same guy I was 10 years ago when I did that? No. If I didn't grow every day, I wouldn't be where I am today. 10 years ago, they always said, oh boy, he had issues. Yeah, I've still got issues, but I work on them every day. You know, I stretch my brain, I grow my capacity, I move things around, I strengthen my spiritual walk. Everyone knows we need that. I try to speak the vision on my team. I tell them they're doing a good job. During this time, you don't know how many times I get asked the question, I can't do this because I don't have a college degree. I don't have all the letters you have behind your name. Dave Thomas didn't either, and he started Wendy's, and he's doing pretty good. You know, there's always things you can do out there to make it work and continue to grow. I do think that as you do start your business, there are things that you need to know. I think you do need to know a little bit about accounting. I think you need to know a little bit about marketing. I think you need to know a little bit about law, but I really think you need to learn a lot about leadership and the principles that are foundational to you. There's a lot of stupid things we can do, and I've done a lot of them. And it's cost me a lot of time. It's cost me a lot of market share, and it's cost me people because they're the number one thing that will give you the most pleasure, and they're the number one thing that will give you the most heartache. But you know, we've all learned and grown from those experiences. Our businesses and our enterprises will not outgrow us. We have to be pretty quick on the draw. We have to decide quick. I don't know if many of you are familiar with Enneagrams and stuff like that. I'm an Enneagram 8. We make decisions, and then we'll turn around and make another decision because we don't think that was the right decision. So that's some of the things that we look at on that part too. And these are just things that I've thought of over the time. I will tell you, business is not for sissies. If you're not ready to hear hard things, be scared. It is very hard, and it is very scary. But if you just lead through it, you'll be able to work forward as far as that. I will also tell you, as you start your business, there's no entitlement to anything. We have to bring it every day. Example of that for me would be hiring a pharmacist to lead a store, to grow a store. When I've got one that shows up that looks like he's got his blue jeans on, maybe a hole in his blue jeans. Maybe he's got the same degree as the other guy I'm hiring, but he also comes in, the other guy comes in khaki pants and a blue shirt with his tie on. He's ready to go to work and everything like that. Who am I going to hire? Who are you going to bring in? What if you're looking for a plumber? You know, and the guy shows up and he's got mud all over his shoes. He walks through your house, you know, and he doesn't clean up after himself. But the other guy that comes in the next time puts booties on when he comes in and cleans up all his stuff. Then he calls you back later and asks how it's doing. You know, what do you think? Who are you going to hire? Who are you going to bring back on that part? So I think I have 3 or 4 minutes left. I'm probably going to yield 2 of those to Jessica because I feed better off questions, and I hope you guys are asking questions for that too. But I want to leave you with 4 characteristics that I feel like are very important to help you grow a business and think about things when you go. And these are things that I try to do every day on that part. I think that you must have a heart to care for people in any business that you do. I think you have to speak your vision over your people. This is hard for me. I will honestly tell you, if some of my staff and teams on this call now listening, they will tell you, Daniel, you might be saying this, but you don't always do it. You know, it's hard for me to give them a high five every day. It's a lot easier for me to say, hey, that wasn't right. But it's harder for me to say, hey, you're doing a good job. So I think that you have to continue to do that. You know, the best part of being in that position is you can do it in private. You can do it personally. You can do it in front of others. It's totally up to you. but I do think you must have a heart to care. I do think also you have to have a passion to inspire, not a passion to motivate. I don't think motivation and inspire are the same, and I've read it and then studied it and looked at it too. Motivate is more of a push word. Inspire is more of a pull word. Dave Ramsey, which I follow a lot on some of his readings, talk about, you hear the leaders and the people driving the team, and as you're ready to start your business and grow your team, that, you hear a bunch of cows, people whipping the cow, stuff like that. But you don't do that. You just kind of say, hey, the water's over here, the food's over here, we're going this way, are you going with us, let's go. A passion to pull what is out inside of someone. A passion to inspire change is a job. It turns a job into a calling. And it's also talks about the servant leadership. I've had the opportunity to talk on that platform as well, and we can pull that back up, but I don't want to take too much time today on that because I do want to get to questions and hope we can help people determine if they want to start the business and lead their business on that part too. But if you ever have the ability to read John Maxwell's book on 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, do that. It will help you do that too as well. And number 3 is a willingness to empower. I suffer with this too. But, it's not that I need to control the results. I need to know everything. I feel like I need to know everything most days. And I'll probably say the 4 panelists or 3 panelists on this call probably feel that way a lot too. We all suffer with that. You can control or you can have growth, but you can't have both. And I've had to loosen the reins on a lot of that too and empower more people to take that on. So one thing I was thinking about this morning, it was not on my original notes, and I know this makes Sandra very nervous, but those are things that we have to know about. It's just kind of, what do we know? How do we want to lead it? How do you want to continue to grow it? And it all becomes more of a you-centered leadership principle. If you put the people in charge, you put your team in charge, you let them go more, they will understand where you want to be and how you want to grow your business, and you will be very successful. And that's the hardest part for me and what I've done. In my short time I've had here, I want to go ahead and put this out there too. In closing, you don't have to be like someone else to start and lead your business. You don't have to be the Jason Senior of Beltline Electric. You don't have to be a pastor of a church. You don't have to be smart. You don't have to be perfect, and you don't always get it right. But you do have to be a real person, because people would rather follow a real person and grow with someone that is real instead of someone that thinks they're always right. Jessica, it's yours.
Thank you, Daniel. I know you're speaking with a lot of heart. I'm going to give Jessica a second to turn her camera on. And since I didn't know what you were going to say, you didn't make me nervous about going off notes today.
It's kind of scary sometimes. Thank you for
We'll
having me. I hope
back to
you have lots of
questions.
questions.
Yeah, we will get back to questions just in a few minutes. And I know Jessica is on the call, and we just need the camera turned on for her. There she comes. Hey, Jessica. When you start talking about small business, the passion just comes out in you. So tell us about what you wish you had known when you first started into business.
Oh gosh, well, so much. I really wish that in 2004, whenever I decided to come home and become an entrepreneur and own an insurance agency, I wish I had known that I was going to have the capability to do it. I wish I had known internally that I was able to do that and it was going to work out. When I started my business, I started with a captive agency, and they had a lot of control over what I could do, the type of business I could write, the type of clientele they wanted to write. And I spent 4 years trying to fit inside that box. I was self-employed. It was my business, but I didn't have all the control. And so in 2008, I did decide to open Advantage Insurance Services and become an independent insurance agent, and I was no longer captive. And so I wish I had known that I could do it. I had some really amazing people in my life, my husband, my parents, friends, other family that all were telling me I could do it. But internally, I was scared to death. I was afraid of everything failing, and that would make me a failure, and losing our savings and not being able to pay that house payment. I was terrified. And I wish I had known that fear did not have to control me, that I could make the choice every day to get up, go to work, make the phone calls, knock on those doors, go visit those business owners, and just do it. So that's kind of my main one thing I wish I'd known. But the other parts of learning how to own a business and be a small business owner that are very important to me is understanding that, like Daniel said, some of it is about who you are innately, who you were kind of born to be. I'm bossy by nature. I was the firstborn. And so I do think, Daniel, that I came into the maternity ward and said, that girl is bossy. I think I was bossy from day one. But I think the Lord just knew what I needed for what my life was going to bring. And so those things were definitely gifts that brought me to where I am today. What I have learned is to have a lot more of the thank yous and the attaboys and the attagirls along the way. Appreciation of people in your life, people on your team directly in your business, but then people who are part of your external team. That is another really important part of being a small business owner, and seeing that from day one to 12 years down the road, which is where we are with Advantage Insurance. I was very blessed in acquiring really helpful external team members, bankers that I learned to work with. When I opened my agency, everybody, I had no accounts. I don't know if you all know much about how insurance agencies start. Some people acquire agencies and you buy a book of business and you walk in and you have a business that's already established. You have clients to call, you have work to do, servicing needs to be done, there are claims happening. I walked in with 0 accounts. It's called a scratch agency. And so I had to start from nothing. All I had was expenses. I had the rent due next month, the utility bills due next month. I had paper I had to buy, and computers I had to buy, and toner and phone systems. All I have is expenses. And so I had to get out there and make it happen, make those phone calls happen. And so through that, I did learn to network in the community that I grew up in. I don't have a college degree. I am one of those people that started college. I've got 3 semesters and a lot of credit hours, but it just wasn't for me. And I left college and went into the business world and finished my education on site. I am a learn as you go educated person. I have a professional license through the state of Kentucky. I do have to keep my continuing education hours up, but I don't have that diploma on the wall. And I did let that make me feel inadequate in a lot of settings for a long time. But like Daniel, in my 40s, almost 44, I have learned that that just does not always make the man or the woman. So I have educated myself and made connections and built a team. Like I said, bankers, my CPA is an extremely powerful part of my team. When you talk about networking and marketing, learning to reach out to those people who are very good at those skills and asking them to give you advice, mentor. We have paid for some services, but a lot of things I've asked for help with social media and outreach, and how can I do these things at an affordable level or free. And so that's what we've done to build our business. I know you all are probably going to have a lot of questions. I hope you have a lot of questions. We'd love to help you learn the things that we've learned. I'm sure there's a lot more I could cover, but I don't know how much time we have. So I'm going to go ahead and let Shalon tell you all about her experience. I'm going to turn that back over to Sandra, and I just look forward to hearing from you all so we can help everybody thrive and succeed in Paducah.
Thank you, Jessica. I'm going to give Shalorn a minute to turn on her camera. And Shalorn, I know that you left. I'm not sure if it was retired early from the state or just decided to go out on your own to start your new business. So I'm going to let you tell us about that transition from a career with the state government to going out on your own.
Good
Shalorn?
morning. Good morning. Can you hear me okay, Sandra?
We got you. Thank you.
Okay. My name is Shalon Jeter. And yes, I started with state government. And I found that there was a cap on income, you know. So I was going to school as well. And I graduated from Murray State with a Bachelor of Science degree. And I decided to go back to school after leaving state government and go and get my real estate license. So I got my real estate license in 2005. And I'm a basically what it is, I am a contractor. I contract my services as a licensed real estate agent to other companies, real estate companies. And the company I currently work for is an online company. That's the platform. I have access to over 30,000 agents in the world. Joining this company was very different because I am the only EXP agent in this area. I'm leaving a brick and mortar building to join an online company. And it was done before the pandemic. And I thought, wow, this is a great idea. But there was a little hesitation there. Once the pandemic hit, I knew it was a good move. I enjoy the company that I am contracted to. When I first started, I have company shares. When I first started with the company, the stock was about $9 a share. And as of yesterday, the last I checked, it was up to $45 a share. I think that was a pretty good move. Selling real estate, Daniel Jones mentioned the passion. I totally agree with that. You have to have passion for whatever your business is. In the community, somebody needs what you have. Even if there's something similar to what you have, someone still needs what you have. And we have to bring our passion to the business, in my opinion, in order for it to work. Because you have to enjoy going to work. It doesn't need to be work. It's your career. Real estate, when people see me, they see real estate. I've been in this so long till people know what I do. And they'll ask me, how's the market? Or what can you tell me about my house? Or do you know a rental? So your business is you. And when I put my business out there, I want a good name. I want people to say, hey, yeah, she does that. I don't want a negativity, because when people remember negative behavior, and it could be a mistake, but they tend to remember negative mistakes over the positives. To me, you want to start a business because you want success. Now, my question is, success is what? What does that mean to you? To me, success is being able to come home, feeling comfortable that your bills are going to get paid. You have family time. It's okay at home. To me, that's success. To someone else, success may be something totally different. A multi-million-dollar business, that could be success too. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer for success, because success is whatever you want it to be. To me, I value family. I value my spiritual life. And I think Daniel mentioned that as well. I feel that having a good spiritual background, a good spiritual life, will enhance the business. I believe that good practice, business practice, doing the right thing, treating people right, goes a lot further than making a dollar. People will remember what you do. And you want repeat business. Just to sell a piece of property and never receive anything from their client, in my opinion, is no good. I believe you need to have a good name. You need to treat people right. They need to know that they've been treated fairly. It's not all the time about getting that volume up or getting that sale up. A lot of time it's about treating people right. In the midst of a pandemic, I feel that people have started to see themselves more, or to realize family more. Families have the right to demand our time. We have families, we have husbands, we have kids, we have grandkids. They have the right to demand our time. In the beginning of working real estate, I put a lot of time in real estate, and I would let the ball drop on a game or doing something with the family on a Friday or a Saturday. I've learned over the years that I needed to have my life in perspective. And the reason being, if your life is in perspective, you got a good business. First of all, to me, I want to make sure I treat people right. My spiritual life has to be right. Second, family. I have to make sure my family knows that I'm there for them. and that we are loving each other, we're getting along. And then third comes the business. And especially if we have a service, if somebody's selling shoes, clothes, houses, whatever, or someone that's a doctor, you want to be able to say, this is what I can do for you and your family. Because when people come to us, we're doing something for their family. So I think having a good family life is very good and very important, and realizing that we serve people, not a contract, not a deal. We are serving people. It is important to realize also, to me, thinking out of the box. Somebody's got a business idea right now that they need to think out of the box on. Maybe they're afraid of it. They don't know if it's going to work. If that business idea came to you, and especially if you can see it, because first you got to think out of the box. Somebody needs it, first of all. I see a question. Someone is asking, how do you grow your leads? I'll answer there in a second. Thinking out of the box is realizing there is no box. I've gotten leads from people that I met, just starting with this company, eXp Realty. This is an online company. There's no other company like this. This is a very nice platform. During the pandemic, I didn't miss a beat. I still had my business running. Only thing I did, I had to tweak things. I had to set up my showings a little different. That's when we come into thinking out of the box. I can't do a normal open house. Okay, well, we're gonna do a video of a house. Hey, y'all, come and look at this piece of property that I have. Somebody asked about the leads. How do I get my leads? I've been in it since 2005. A lot of my leads right now are coming from repeat customers. However, networking, but I'm a networker. I like to talk. I like to meet people. Networking, join clubs, join businesses, put the word out there that you have a real estate license, or you have a company that you have something for. Whatever your interest is, for instance, if you like to sell clothes, okay, get in that network clothing. Go on, especially Facebook. With Facebook now, when I started in 2005, I was afraid of Facebook. But now Facebook has such a platform for whatever we have and whatever we need. Those leads are right there. As long as we join the right group, it's so easy now. You can probably get leads on Facebook now. Just joining up, networking with that group that you're interested in, wherever your business is. I say that's a good way of getting leads. As far as me and what I do, I get a lot of leads from networking. People know who I am. For sale by owners, we have to be careful about COVID and knocking on doors. Just drop a card in there, or you see a number on the sign, just call that, as long as they're not on the do not call list. There's some parameters there, but people are very nice overall. I can say, even in spite of all the racism and things that's going on in the world, overall, people are very nice. And people want what you have. There's something out there that people need right now. There's an idea right now. As long as you can see that idea, you can see how you're going to make that idea work. That idea can come to fruition, and it will work. It just depends on us. In the beginning, my challenges was knowing that I'm not working for somebody else, and I'm working for myself. With that being said, okay, I got to go out there and make it happen. It was a challenge to know that I was responsible for whatever I needed. In the beginning, it was also a challenge when you get your pay to put that money aside for your business and then pay yourself. That was definitely a challenge. I hope there's some more questions there. Third, just realize that this is not a job, it's your career. And I can talk forever, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it back to Sandra.
No, I love hearing all of your stuff, and thank you for answering some of the questions, because I do want to bring on Jessica and Daniel. Some of the questions are specific to some of you, but honestly, when I look at them, I think they apply to all of you. But you did mention, Shalon, and I want to make sure I'm getting your name correctly, Shalon, about
Yes.
Facebook and social media. How do you said you absolutely have used it and felt like it was good. You want to expand on that? And then Jessica and Daniel, if you all will expand on social media, Facebook, how it has worked for you.
Absolutely. Facebook, I found out about this company, eXp Realty, through Facebook. A girl in Maryland, I liked something on her page. We were on a real estate group, and she told me about this company, eXp Realty, and I didn't know anything about it. Although I'm the only agent here, there's a lot of agents in Louisville, Lexington, Baltimore, DC, Mexico, even Africa. I think Facebook closes the gap for leads. I've gotten, right now, because of Facebook and plus people that I know, there's been leads in social media. There's leads coming from California. Hey, I want to move out of California. I want to be somewhere in a rural area. I mean, Facebook is a very good platform. Of course, you got to be careful with it, but it is a very good platform.
Hey, I'm just going to encourage you to get all those people that want to move to a small area to come to Paducah. We will welcome them. And as you know, the chamber, we mail out relocation packages all the time to people that might want to come to Paducah. So keep us posted on that. And anyone else that's on the call today, if you're hearing of someone, I think just this week I heard that you can't even get a U-Haul in New York because they're all gone because so many people are moving from the big city. So we want to welcome them here. Jessica, Daniel, what about you guys in social media? Jessica, you want to go first?
Oh, I love social media now. I was laughing at something just yesterday. You know, now Facebook has the memories that pop up. Well, it was a memory from 11 years ago. I got so tickled because it was 11 years ago that one of my really kind insurance company reps came in and said, you know, you should start a Facebook page. And I was like, what is Facebook? I had no clue what he was talking about. It was so new that when I started my Facebook page, I didn't know what I was doing. So I named it Insurance. And people are all the time asking me, how did you get your Facebook page named Insurance? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing. But it does generate a lot of leads. When people go on Facebook, they search insurance in Paducah, my page tends to pop up. So they will message me, they'll like our page. I have been really working and trying to be consistent on asking my clients if they're on Facebook and would they be willing to give us a review and share their experience in our agency with their friends. Check in when they stop by to see us. Let people know that this is where they come to get their protection. We want to make sure people know we're here. We're 12 years old, but I still have a lot of people say, I forget about you. I forget you're there. And I think that's partly because we're kind of not in your face. We're not a real aggressive insurance agency. We try to be sort of down home about things at my office. And I keep it like that on Facebook. If we ever do a live video or anything, I'm just me. I think Daniel talked about being authentic. And I think that's so important. Just as a small business owner, you don't need to be professional. You don't need to be this, I don't know, this fake version of yourself because you're now in this business. Just be you in your business and be that person in your social media presence as well.
Hey, Daniel, we have a question to you about, you talked about your staff. How do you grow the leadership development of your people that work with you?
Pray a lot about that. It is a hard thing to do. And I think if anyone in the leadership position, you struggle with that, and it all comes onto a passion for them, passion to lead, a passion, a desire to want to learn. And all you can do is speak the vision over them. If you keep continually speaking vision, where we're going, what we're going to do, and how we're going to do it. Last year in December, it was the first time I've ever done this. And, you know, you hear people doing these retreats and, you know, the learn and meet. Well, I did one. We're now at roughly 60-ish, 65. Could go up and down every other day, depending on what the college kids and high school students do. But 65 team members now, including 14 full-time pharmacists. So we were moving in different directions. So we took all the pharmacists and staff and husbands, and we went to Nashville this year to hotel. We sat down. I had a company come in. John Felkins came in and talked to us about how to grow, how to mesh, how to learn. And we spent a weekend doing that. And then COVID hit, but no, that's okay. So, you know, it kind of took a little pivot there on that part too as well, but it is hard. I read a lot on how to do that. I hope I portray it in a manner that way. but it starts down and it works its way down. And if you get it to your core people, and then they can cast the vision out on the other side too as well. And nothing more makes me happier when I come in a place in one of the stores, when I walk in and I say, hey, what's working, what I need to work on, and they say nothing. And that nothing makes me happy. Then you know you've done it right.
For all of you, did you have a business plan, and how often do you review it, and how has it changed through the years? Daniel, you want to start, and then we'll work backwards? I'm sorry.
No, I could probably turn around and find it right here on my bookcase. But and I know I've got it saved here. Yeah, I did have a business plan going forward into that. We luckily for my projections, we were lucky enough to exceed all of them and to get us where we are today. Thank the Lord for that, and the good people around us that have entrusted us, that's believed in us from the beginning. And so we look back on it, and still today, whenever we go back over the year and the bank needs what they need and everything, we still include our business plan to it as there as well. Have I done business plans now? No, I do more goal setting than business plans now.
Shalauren?
Yeah, in the beginning, no, I didn't have a business plan, and I'm bad about this because I would just jump right in and let's go to work. But in the beginning, I didn't have a business plan, but a couple of years after being in real estate, I did buckle down and get a business plan. How often do I review it? I probably don't review it enough. I am like Daniel. I'll just do, I'll have my goals set. And after all being in this business 15 years, sometimes I can get relaxed and I have to kind of wake up, okay, I need to do this, or I need to be sure I do my customers like this. I need to make sure I follow up with, and sometimes basically just going back to basics. I have to remind myself of the business plan, of the basic plan, the basic foundation that what started my business.
Jessica?
Oh, I had a business plan. I am a major planner. I am a goal setter. I think that if you don't write it down, then you can't create the map of where you're going because you don't have direction. So yes, I had a business plan in 2004. I did revise that in 2008. I'm more like Daniel at this point. I don't really sit down and make a new business plan, but I do sit down and set new goals every year at the beginning of the year, and I do look back on those once a quarter just to see where we're at. This year has not been my favorite year on goals because things did change. But strangely, rolling into third quarter, we're getting back on track. So I think planning is very important. If you don't have a plan, then you don't know where you're going.
And if I can add something there, and I don't want to get off kilter, or off the topic, but I think if you can have a network of people or a group of people that can help you with that, 3 or 4 people, and I can tell you mine, and all of you would know them, but we talk about that a lot, is where are you with that? What are you doing with that? Did you meet this, or was this your goal? And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be business related. It could be anything. If you want to, measurable goal, I want to lose 30 pounds. Okay, when? And how many times are you going to do it? Like most of us have done that, too, right? And so, if you can measure it, okay, I'm going to lose 10 pounds a month. Okay, that means I can do it in 3 months and I'm ready for the wedding, right? So, I mean, those are things that you can measure. So I think your goals have to be that. But if you've got someone that can keep you on track, that's huge.
I'm going to combine a couple of questions. One was talking about, it sounds like all 3 of you guys really started your business with 0 customers. You were starting from scratch. So how did you do that? And also, how did you overcome your fear?
For me, at the time when I started, I worked for a national company, which I've always worked for national companies. I would do a lot of forward calls, which basically when somebody called into the company, you're answering the phone. So I did a lot of that. Sometimes in the beginning, you have to spend out a lot of marketing. It doesn't make sense when you don't have it to spend, but it will make sense when the money start coming in, and you'll have to and pay attention to your marketing. If you're not getting calls from that, you may need to do something different, and ask your customers, how did you hear about me? There was a question about any advice about fear. Oh my gosh, move scared. That's what you do. You move scared, move afraid. Know that you can do it. That person, that customer, the community needs what you have. If you have a good business plan or if you have a good idea and you can see how you're going to make that, you can see how you can make that work, move anyway. If you don't move, we'll never have what you're offering, and we need it.
Jessica, you started with 0 customers. You said that. How'd you overcome that fear?
Well, I had 2 little kids and a husband that said, you have to go do this. And I just did it. Just like Shalon said, you do it scared. I prayed a lot. And I will say that I do know that there's a Bible verse that tells us that he did not give us a spirit of fear. And so I would just sort of like sit in that sometimes and then make that phone call or go into that business or ask that person to lunch and go from there. But the way I started acquiring clients was I had worked in the lending world before. So I reached out to people in mortgage lending because I knew that to get to the closing, you've got to have that homeowner's declaration page before you can even cross that finish line and sign those documents and buy that house. So I would call them and explain to them that I understood their world. Let me help them get that closing done in a timely fashion. And so what I found out was I was getting them that deck page much quicker than their my counterparts. And so I would end up getting those referral pieces from those mortgage lenders. So then I started calling my car salespeople and my, camper salespeople and the stuff that I insure. I would contact the parties that sold those products or those items. And I just built a referral base. And I asked friends and family, I was like, please let me quote your business. And if we get it, we get it. If we don't, we don't. But let me try. And people were very kind and very generous and let me try. So here we are, 16 years later in the industry, 12 years later as an independent agent. You just have to be scared and try and go and do.
So Daniel, I've heard you tell your story about opening up the pharmacy and I think a snowstorm hit right after that. And so like nobody was getting out or they certainly weren't getting to the pharmacy. How did you overcome that fear?
I went home and cried in the fetal position for several nights. And I'll throw that out there too. It's okay to cry.
Yeah.
It's okay to get down and think this is not going to work. But in my mind, I never thought it would not work. January 3rd, 2011, we opened the doors right over here beside me, and it was awful. It was cold, rainy, miserable. Then the snowstorm hit, and I kept calling the phone to make sure it was working. I just knew things were going to happen. But let me backtrack on that a little bit too. Before we opened in January, September, October of that previous year in 2010, I was in Paducah networking. I was in Paducah, joined the chamber. I was in Paducah speaking to civic clubs. I was in Paducah. There are a lot of people that want to hear, they need people to speak. And then, you go and speak. Maybe you buy them lunch or whatever and stuff like that. I was in doctors' offices. I was in the ability to do that and stuff like that. I joined BNI in Paducah, which was a great organization for me and still is a great organization. I'm no longer in it, but I still get things from that organization. It's a wonderful thing. Anything you can do to set your time. I was still living in Murray, so I would drive from Murray on a Friday morning at 5:30 to get to the meeting at 7. So, those are things you have to sacrifice. The days start early and end late. In this world, and there's no way to describe it. There's no way to describe it. But if you work hard and play hard, you'll have a very rewarding life, no doubt about it.
I'm going to end up with yes, Shalon.
Yes, I'd like to add something else about that moving scared. Go into it like you belong there. Get your suit on or those overall on. If you're a farmer, go there like you belong there, and go there almost like you the boss, because you are the boss. You're the boss of your business. And hey, y'all need what I got.
If Eeyore is your spirit animal, that it's not going to work in this business, because especially in my business, we move from 8 to 6:30 every night, and most time that's our hours, roughly hours and stuff like that. But I started a long time, and and everything like that. And so if you come into the place of business, you own and run it, on that, and you're, well, guess
Yeah.
what? That girl that's standing right there beside you, whether she's 16 years old or whether she's 58 years old or whatever, guess what her attitude becomes? When the leader starts there, she now becomes Eeyore. She could have been Winnie the Pooh that morning, which is what you want. But that's how on my side.
Well, I want to mention that what Shalon said about, because back in the old day, pre-COVID, when we used to have like our chamber breakfast, we would have 350 people there. And sometimes I hear people say that they came in and they were overwhelmed by the crowd and maybe they didn't know any people. But sometimes if you can just project yourself as someone else, maybe you look around and I think, look at Shalon. She seems very comfortable talking to people. I'm just going to pretend like I'm her today, and I'm going to make myself talk to these people. So I think that's, to me, that's been something. Sometimes you just have to imagine yourself as someone else and put yourself out there to do that. So I hope post-COVID, real soon, that we get to be out having these networking events so that we can do that again. And that's a great opportunity for people to meet each other and talk to people. Meanwhile, we're having a lot of other events where people can be involved with the chamber in some way. So just want to finish up with this one thought about I want to turn it into a positive. The question was, how do you reconcile if you fall short of your expectations? Let's just talk about, make that in a positive. How do you make that reconciliation with yourself if, where you are in meeting your expectations? I guess I'll just say that. So I'm gonna give you that. How do you reconcile where you are? Are you exceeding? You're falling short? How are you going to turn that around to make that work for you? Who wants to go first?
For me, I think that you have to have some failure. That's just part of the plan, whether you want it to be or not. And there's a really great book, and it's called Fail Forward. And if you have not read that, I highly suggest you go and get on Amazon and order it. They'll ship it to you. Learn how to fail forward, because failure has to be part of the plan. Growth happens in some of the failure. So I just learned a long time ago to embrace that. Okay, we fell short of the goals I thought. Well, so what? So set new goals. Like, now we know new parameters, set new goals, and move forward. That's how I handle that.
So that book, Fail Forward, is that just for business, or would that apply to anything in your life?
Oh, I think that's for anything you've got going on. That's just a really awesome personal development book. It's great for high school kids, college kids, adults, grandparents, anybody.
Okay, great. Thank you for that tip. Daniel, you got a tip on that?
Winston Churchill said one time that, success is standing on your failures, and there's a lot of failures that I'm standing on that part too. So just know it's going to happen. Know there is going to be shortfalls. It does hurt. It does stink. Business is down this year. There's no sense hiding it. There's no sense lying about it. But there's friends. I've got friends that are having the best years of their life, and that's great. And we celebrate with the wins. We celebrate. We don't celebrate the losses, but we still go through that. And there's times you can look back and say, hey, that made me a better person. We're going to knock it out of the park in 2021. Everything's going to be back, and we're going to do it. It's going to be amazing. Your attitude has to start there.
Shalon?
I think for me, I just have this idea. If God gave you this idea and you can see it, okay, this must be a God thing. And I don't want to throw too much religion in there, but it is. This is me. This is just me. It must be a God-given idea, and it's going to work. Have I had failures? Yes. But I have a very supportive husband. There's been plenty of times I wanted to give up real estate. Babe, I'm going to get a regular job and get paid and come home. No, babe, no. So my husband's been very supportive. And I think it's good to have supportive people around you. You're not going to get every deal. You're not going to get everything right, but we can learn from it. I've learned in my first 2 years in real estate, I had some of the craziest things happen, but I learned from them, and I'm a pretty good real estate agent now because I can see this stuff head on. So you can always learn from these things. document, document, document. Get your little notebook, document everything that happens, make that your second Bible. And go over that day or go over that deal, go over what you did, and you'll find out what you did wrong. But, you know, I'm like Daniel and Jessica, we're going to fail. It's going to happen. But the good thing is we learn, just don't give up.
Well, hey, thank you three so much. I know I've come away with a lot of advice for today, and I hope that other small business owners have heard the passion in your voice, the encouragement from you. You're going to have some bad times, but you're going to have some really good times too. And those of you who are suffering through COVID right now, there is going to be another side. We're going to get through this, and we're going to make it. As the chamber and as the community, we're working really hard to make sure that on the other side, it's a stronger recovery than where we were before. So thank you for joining us. Daniel Jones with Strawberry Hills Pharmacy, Jessica Newman with Advantage Insurance, and Shalon Jeter with eXp Realty. Thank you to our sponsors, FNB Bank and Lundberg Medical Imaging. We'll be back next Wednesday at 8 o'clock, and that topic is really going to be something you all briefly hit upon today, is how to revise your business plan and manage cash flow during an economic uncertainty. So that's what we're having right now, and we want to talk about that next week. Chris Waldrich with Murray State University Center for Economic and Entrepreneurial Development will be with us. And then we have more seminars every Wednesday, 8 o'clock in September. So please join us. Go to paducahchamber.org to register. We really appreciate you joining us for today. Thank you for our speakers. Thank you for our sponsors. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Oh, let me just say this. Tomorrow we have the Power and Partnership Breakfast. So go on paducahchamber.org and register to attend our Power and Partnership Breakfast tomorrow. We are talking about our membership campaign, our Leadership Paducah Class 34, and we will hear from one of our U.S. Senators, Rand Paul. So join us then. Thank you, everyone, for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good week.